And again, speaking of justice in our country, or actually lack of justice in our country, I actually want to move on to another story. So we've talked many, many times on this show about how President Barack Obama has tragically and horrifically assassinated American citizens without a trial. Well, three family members of three of the people that Obama has assassinated with extrajudicial assassinations and drone killings actually sued some government officials with the help of the ACLU and the Center for Constitutional Rights. And unfortunately, this last week, a U.S. District Judge, Justice Rosemary Collyer, has dismissed that case. It's horrible. Reading from Justice Collier's opinion, quote, "The question presented is whether federal officials can be held personally liable for their roles in drone strikes abroad that target and kill U.S. citizens. The question raises fundamental issues regarding constitutional principles, and it is not easy to answer." End quote. Okay, she's right in that. It does, in fact, raise very fundamental issues. I would say probably the most fundamental issue, like, can our government kill its own citizens without a trial? This is something that's very fundamental. It goes back to the foundations of democracy, the whole idea of habeas corpus, and apparently, this judge thinks that yes, they can. And in answer to that fundamental question, can a government murder its own citizens on its own say alone? She says, sure. She dismisses the case. Reading again from The Guardian, quote, Collier said that the government officials named as defendants, quote, must be trusted and expected to act in accordance with the U.S. Constitution when they intentionally target a U.S. citizen abroad at the direction of the president with the concurrence of Congress. They cannot be held personally responsible in monetary damages for conducting war. End quote. Well, there you have it, folks. There you have it. According to this judge, government officials, quote, this is a quote from her decision, must be trusted. Government officials must be trusted and expected to act in accordance with the United States Constitution. They must be trusted. If those government officials say it's constitutional, if they say assassinating American citizen, they say that is constitutional, well then by God, brush your hands free of the situation, then it is constitutional if they say it is. This judge has gone full Nixon, people. She's gone full Nixon. If the president does it, then it's not illegal. That's what she's embracing. That's what she's going forward as a judge. I mean, it's disgusting. Look, they assassinated these men, and they say it's constitutional. Who am I as a judge to question? Oh, right, I'm a judge. I'm a district court judge. That's my job to question this stuff. Oh my God, this person does she not understand that she is actually part of one of the branches of the government, that our government has different branches and they're supposed to check each other, and that's the whole point about our government, is there's supposed to be checks on each branch's power? I mean, there is absolutely positively nothing more extreme that a government can do than targeting and assassinating its own citizens without a trial. It is obviously unconstitutional. It is clearly unconstitutional. And the judge's response is she shrugs. She says, well, we have to trust him. We have to trust him. No, we don't. No, we don't. And it's not your job to trust him. Unbelievable. So disgusting. Reading on from The Guardian. This is the judge again in her ruling, quote, in this delicate area of war making, national security, and foreign relations, the judiciary has an exceedingly limited role. Allowing claims against individual federal officials in this case would impermissibly draw the court into the heart of executive and military planning and deliberation. It would require the court to examine national security policy and the military chain of command, as well as operational combat decisions. End quote. And you know what? Yes. Yes, it would. And do you want to know why the judicial branch needs to do that? Well, The reason that is that the executive branch has gone too far. They have exceeded their constitutional authority here. If the executive branch is doing something unconstitutional, when is it the judicial branch to actually step in? That's their job. She doesn't think that, though. She doesn't think that that's the judicial branch's job. I don't know what she thinks the judicial branch's job and role in our country is. The ACLU's Hina Shamsi, who is one of the attorneys who argued the case, actually had this to say about this travesty of a decision. Quote, "This is a deeply troubling decision that treats the government's allegations as proof while refusing to allow those allegations to be tested in court. The court's view that it cannot provide a remedy for extrajudicial killings when the government claims to be at war, even far from any battlefield, is profoundly at odds with the Constitution. It is precisely when individual liberties are under such grave threat that we need the courts to act to defend them. In holding that violations of U.S. citizens' right to life cannot be heard in a federal courtroom, the court abdicated its constitutional role." End quote. And damn right it did. Damn right it abdicated it. If our Justice Department won't do their job, and they are not doing their job. If they refuse to do their job, it's sad to say this, but it's true. There is no way we can say that we are living in a functioning democracy anymore. And we're not. So the question is, what are we going to do about it? We'll be right back.